Hello and welcome back into another edition of CreekCast. I'm your host, Brooks Carter, joined by head football coach Drew Carter. Thank you for joining in on another edition of the show as we are coming off game 9 of the 2025 season and heading into the regular season finale. We will be having Halloween take place this Friday night as we welcome Ringgold to the Creek. It'll be senior night, a lot of fun, exciting stuff going on. And, you know, I keep saying regular season because I have no idea what kind of funky stuff could happen this Friday night. We're not technically eliminated from the playoffs at this point, I don't think. And I'm not gonna say that this is it until the brackets come out, and I'm also not going to say it's it because I believe we can win the football game Friday night the way we've been playing the last few weeks. And Coach, another heartbreaking loss, an inspiring performance against a now 9-0 7th ranked North Murray Mountaineer team. And, I was sitting here thinking throughout over the weekend into the course of this week, we have led 6 football games this year. We've led 5 of them at halftime. So we've led over half of our games at halftime. And the last 2 weeks specifically, we have led over 60% of the games combined. Just didn't come out on the winning side of it. That is, you love to be in games, but I know, God, that's got to be so just frustrating as a staff and for your players.
Yeah, very much so. And the only way I can explain it or rationalize it, however you want to say it, is that I think that's part of our growing process and unfortunately growing pains as a young football program. You're 15 overall, that we're trying to figure out how to win those games because the hard truth is we haven't been in a lot of those historically prior to really the last month that we've played here. Tight football games where we're just ahead or just behind. So we've got to figure out how to come out on top of a few of those. And then in the future, we've got confidence in those situations. And it's not us as players, us as coaches sitting there thinking, oh, is this supposed to be happening? Is this okay? Can we win? Can we upset somebody? So hopefully we can make that happen sooner rather than later, and kind of make that the norm for us.
Yeah, and I know you're not, I know you and your coaching staff are not moral victory guys by any means. So we're not going to hang our hat on the fact that we almost beat, you know, an undefeated 7th ranked football team. But we did a lot of positive stuff Friday night, and I think so. Like, let's get into the game. Looking at it here, we came out with an early start. That's something that's really been promising. A lot this year. We've been able to jump out on teams and have quick starts. We've been a really strong first quarter team, specifically in a lot of games. I know that as a play caller, how rehearsed is kind of those opening couple of series that y'all do with your game install throughout the week, because y'all look so crisp and so ready to play. Defense does their job, and then the offense comes out, and it's just, I mean, it is like clockwork down the field. And there's been multiple games now where y'all have taken, where we've gone in and had 10-0, 14-0 leads in the first quarter.
I don't know if it's rehearsed to a T, but as we've got a good idea of what's going to give defenses trouble and what ways we can attack them and get the ball into our best guys' hands early in the game. So that's a big part of it. But the plays that we get the most reps at in practice are the ones that I have in that, first quarter script, if you will. We know those first anywhere from 6 to 10 plays that we want to run right off the bat. So, there's a lot of reps, there's a lot of confidence in those. So that helps us get off the start because we sit here this time last year and the conversation was the exact opposite. We couldn't get started quickly. So I feel like me and the rest of the staff understand how important it is to get our guys going and have them in the flow of the game and their energy level up. So we put a lot of time and energy and thought into that, and that's where it is. And it seems like if one side of the ball or the other can do that, then the other one can complement that, and here we go.
Yeah, so you come out, drive down the field, get a field goal on the board with Edward Alvarez, who has had a really strong season this year. I believe that was his fourth field goal make of the season, and he's only missed the one PAT. He's now up to third most point afters made in a season in program history. So he's had a really strong year. But that continued his strong play right after with a successful surprise onside kick, doinked right off North Murray return team's player's face mask. Brody Howell comes in and recovers it, and then big deep shot on fourth down to Kobe King, gets us down inside the 5 yard line. Waylon Belials caps it off with a 5 yard touchdown run, and we're up 10-0. And that score held all the way through into the second quarter. North Murray's offense didn't see the field until about 4 minutes left in the first quarter because of the way the game played out. And I think by that point in time, our defense was ready to come out and do their job. And they played really well throughout the course of the night, but they played really inspiring in those first few possessions.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Speaking to Edward, he's probably the best onside guy I've ever been around. I don't know how he gets the bounces that he does, but it seems like on that second or third, sometimes a fourth hop, it always does something crazy and gives us a chance. So we've definitely got a weapon there, and our guys know how to capitalize on it. But to your point about the defense, they were, man, their energy level was unbelievable. When it started up front, we knew that they were tough on their offensive line, North Murray, and we knew that we were going to have to play really well to give us a chance within our front seven. And we did just that. We came off blocks well. We held the point well. We were able to make them run side to side because they're so good. Their backs of stretching and creasing you. That was the big concern for us. We knew that if they got going vertical, then we were going to have a long night. But we were kind of able to build that wall and string things out, which was exactly the game plan that Coach Holliday and the guys put in place. But man, it started up front with Chevy Joyce and Colby Ewert. Colby Ewert, that's probably the best game I think I've seen him play. And he's done some good stuff for us over the past few years, but man, he was disruptive. He played discipline and an energy level like I haven't seen him at before. And then that kind of paved the way for Branson Lowry to have the night that he had and some of those other guys.
Yeah, he speaking of Colby, I was looking at a couple of plays. One of the ones that was the defensive play that was featured in our Coahulla Creek Sports Network call. We had two calls from the game that I kind of tagged as our best calls. One of them was the sack on the opening drive that Hewlett's kind of running around trying to make something happen, and really the catalyst behind what made that play be such a huge loss was he was trying to scramble, and he's a phenomenal athlete. We talked about that a ton last week. He's trying to scramble to get away, and you've got 240-pound, 250-pound Colby Ewert, who is running almost step for step with him. He is deceptively fast. I know you've told me, not necessarily on air, but you've said, Colby's a really great athlete. He's got he moves exceptionally well for his size, and he was tracking him down and made Hewlett redirect. And at that moment, Tyler Douglas I don't know if he was coached to make that decision. He just kind of came up and was like, you know what, I'm going to make a tackle here. He just kind of beelined at him and knocked him down. I don't know. I think they used to call that cowboying when you do your own thing. I don't know if he was coached to do that or if it was instinctual or what, but that was a phenomenal play.
Yeah, big play in the game. Effort all the way around, like you're talking about, by those guys. But a big momentum play, too. I'm sure you saw it. The sideline kind of erupted on that, too, and just kind of spoke to the point we were making a minute ago of how passionate and energized we were at the beginning of the game and throughout the game, too. So big, huge momentum play there, and love to see those guys supporting their teammates, and then guys like Colby and Tyler that you mentioned making huge plays for the team there.
Offensively, we wound up not scoring until the last drive of the game after that. But from about in the second and third quarter, we were able to move the ball some. We got down inside the 30-yard line a couple of different times and came away empty-handed. Had a couple of drops that were that kind of went against us, and otherwise, I feel like we probably would have at least put three, maybe it's six on the board. But defense kept us in the ball game. Defense kept us in the lead all the way up until 28 seconds left in the third quarter. Wyatt Mann had an interception in the second quarter, a great read on defense, dropping back in zone coverage. North Murray drove down the field in the third quarter with a chance to tie the game up, and the defense had a huge goal line stand, keeping them out as they forced North Murray into a field goal attempt, and they missed it. We stayed in the game and had a chance to convert an onside kick to maybe have a chance for a Hail Mary to win it at the end, but ultimately wound up falling 21-16. But in your post game quotes with our article up on our website that Kylie Little writes every week, you noted that you thought this was one of the best games that Waylon Belials has played. Can you kind of allude to a little more on that?
Yeah. Number one, anytime you judge your quarterback when you're looking back at film or talking about it in the post game, you look at decision making. And we do so much in our run game where he's having to make decisions with the reads to go along with the decisions he's got to make in the passing game. And he was on all night long. It didn't seem like he made a wrong decision. And I can think of about two passes that were inaccurate. Other than that, you mentioned we had some unfortunate drops. And then they broke on a couple of balls, and that was it. He was on all night long and gave us a chance every time he had the ball in his hand. And I just thought that was a big time performance by him. He was efficient. And like I said, the ball was going where it was supposed to be on time, accurately. And I just feel like from a quarterback perspective, you can't ask much more out of your quarterback than what we got from him Friday night.
Interceptions have it's been a hit or miss with him, but the last couple of weeks, he had a couple of interceptions in the second quarter against Murray County a few weeks ago. And since that point, he has really cleaned that up and been really efficient. No picks the last 2 weeks. Has been very accurate throwing the football. He's got that completion percentage back up over 50%. We talked about that a little bit last week. 181 yards passing. The touchdown pass to Tyler Douglas there in the fourth quarter, had 43 yards on the ground, had another touchdown run. He's got 17 total touchdowns on the year now. Tyler Douglas had 66 on the ground, another solid game for him. His season total, he's up to over 500 yards rushing on the season, which is 537, which is fourth most in a single season by a running back. Probably most impressive by Tyler's, he's averaging over 5 yards a carry this year, which is anytime you got a running back that can pick up, get you halfway to a first down every time they touch the football. That's a really big thing. That's a really good sign as a play caller. I know you've talked about wanting to stay patient with the run game, and in the last few weeks, I've noticed with the run game that you have stayed more patient. You haven't gone away from it. And we're not breaking these massive runs every play, but we're getting 2-3 yards, and we're starting to see the negative plays from the run game be less and less and less. And I know part of that strategy too, we're going to pop them 2-3 yards. Eventually those will bust open and we'll get a 12, 15, maybe a home run hitter on one of those runs.
Yeah, you're right. The negative, not having the negative plays is a huge part of that. And that speaks to Tyler taking coaching really well, of hitting his aiming points and understanding the scheme of where he's supposed to attack in the gaps. And then how well we're playing up front too. Those guys, that was a tall test that they had Friday night. North Murray had been a tough team to run the football on all year. And like you said, I don't think we were explosive in the run game, but we were very consistent. We were very effective. You felt like we could run the ball how we wanted to when we needed to at any point, and it allowed us to be flexible and allowed us to be effective in our run game throughout the night too. So there's a lot of pieces to it there, but those guys up front got the job done Friday night.
Last note on offense here, Kobe King had another pretty solid night receiving. Wyatt Mann had several catches, especially on that 2 minute in the 2 minute drill at the end of the game to get the touchdown set up. Tyler Douglas with his fourth touchdown catch of the season. He and Kobe now both have 4 touchdown catches on the year. Kobe now over up to 425 yards receiving on the season. But defensively, another night of guys playing in the backfield a lot. We've now got, I think the total I looked at was we've got over 55 tackles for loss on the season through 9 games, which is really impressive. And it's been a total team effort from that standpoint. You look at season totals. Jackson's got 10 tackles for loss. White Man's got 9.5. Branson's got 8.5. Luke Turner's got 6.5. A couple of those are sacks. Chevy has got 5.5. We've even got some secondary guys. Kobe King's got 3.5. Colby's got 3. So, really getting after the quarterback, especially from our defensive line and outside linebacker positions. And that was the name of the game again. I mean, you expect really good players to they're going to get what they're going to get at sometimes with a really good athlete like the Hewlett kid. But outside of just a couple of probably chunk plays down to down, our defense really limited them. And they were way under their average for the season. They've been averaging well into the 200 yards rushing on the season, and that was not the case Friday night.
Yeah, and it's a total team effort anytime you play an attack like that because it can't just be one guy making plays because if one guy gets out of position, he's going to make you pay. And we've seen him do that against a lot of people this year. And to your point, we were consistent throughout. And it was really proud too. He did have a couple of chunk plays, which we knew it's going to happen. When you play a really good player like that, it's going to happen. But those chunk plays were like 20 or 30-yard gains and not 50 and 60-yard touchdowns. We got them on the ground, make them snap it again, but we're going to continue to play and then make them earn every yard they're getting. And that's a great way to play defense and force them to have to string together a lot of plays and force them to make a mistake eventually.
Let's take a second to thank our corporate sponsors here, and then we'll get into previewing our upcoming game against Ringgold and tell you a little bit about everything that's going on Friday night at the Creek. Let's thank those corporate sponsors, though. S&M Auto Repair and Towing, Hernandez Roofing, Mohawk Industries, the Todd Nelson Foundation, Engineered Floors, Keller Williams, the Blankenship Team, Lowry Tree Service, Precision Seamless Guttering, Selling North Georgia, Smoky Mountain Wood Products, Textile Rubber, Phoenix Roofing Systems, Dairy Queen, and Trinity Barbecue. So, Coach, we welcome Ringgold to the Creek this week. Historically, we have struggled with Ringgold, but as of late in the series, we have had some success against them in our own building. 2 of the last 3 visits to the Creek, we have won against Ringgold. The last time we played them in Varnell, it was an all-time classic, at least from our perspective. Last second 30-yard touchdown pass from Chase Ward to Nate Tilley. They're a good football team. The way we've been playing, I expect this to be another similar game to what we've experienced probably the last I feel like this game's going to feel a lot like North Murray, Union, LFO, where it's going to be a 1-score game going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, you're right. You bring in another quality opponent. Like I said, I think they're number like 10 or 11 in the postseason rankings formula right now. So they've had a good season. And a couple of their losses really were they had some injuries going on at that time. I think they were off last week, so they probably got some guys rested up. So you're exactly right. We're going to have to come with our A game again. But the best part about that is we've got another opportunity to hopefully it is a one score game and we're able to prove we're going to be able to come out on top and not be shocked or we're not going to make those critical mistakes in those critical times. We're going to make the play this time. It's kind of been the message this week, and it doesn't take anything superhuman. Like we talked about some of those. We make a few of those catches last Friday night. I think the ball game probably goes a different direction. And none of them were superhuman plays. It's plays that I think we can make, and I know that we have made over the course of the season. So just being able to maintain our focus and not letting the moment be too big for us. And I think we can give ourselves an opportunity to be in the situation we want to be in.
Yeah, Ringgold playing for they're locked in as a top four team. I think they're locked in as a top four team in the region because they have the head to head over Sonorville. Maybe if they lost and Sonorville won, they might fall out. So, but they're sitting right there trying. I think they're trying to play for another for the chance to host another home playoff game. So a lot on the table for them. But as I mentioned, you know, some funky stuff can happen. You don't ever know what can happen in high school. You know, if we get a few things that line up in a way that would benefit us, and we get a few teams ahead of us that lose, and something crazy. I mean, there's like 5 or 6 at-large spots that are open, and we're not that far down the list of on the at-large, like of the at-large teams that are there. I mean, we're if you look at bracketology when it comes out in like with March Madness, they always have first 4 out, next 4 out. We're kind of in that next 4 out window right now. So we need some stuff to happen. But the first thing that's got to happen is we have to win the football game Friday night. And I'm sure that's been the selling point to your guys this week is, we're still playing for something here. And ultimately, if it's not the postseason, we're playing for a chance to, this would be only the 4th time in program history that we had a season that had 3 or more wins in it. And I know that that's not, headlining material for most programs, but as a program trying to build towards something, that's a chance for this team and specifically this senior class to continue to try to set this program in the right direction. And, for these seniors, this will be their last home game for sure. And, we'll get a chance to recognize the 12 seniors before the game Friday night. And I know that's always a special time. And we'll also have trunk or treat going on before the game from 6 to 7 o'clock. We've posted that on our social media. But for these seniors, this is a class that, you've become very acquainted with. This is some of these guys have been playing under your head coach tenure. Some of them have been 3-year starters for you. Dating back to your offensive coordinator days, a guy like Chevy Joyce has been starting all 4 years for you. So this has been a special group.
Yeah, you appreciate the commitment that they've had to the program. That's not lip service because you have had a lot of commitment. We a good number of them. We'd love to have more, but this is kind of for where we are in our program right now. If you're in that 12 to 15 seniors, you feel pretty good about that class, and that's where we are right now. But that's been the message to these guys this week from me and the rest of the coaching staff is there's a lot of things we can't control, but what you can control is what you're going to put on the field this coming Friday, and what is your block of the 2025 Coahulla Creek Colts going to be on this foundation that we're continuing to build. We keep saying, we're a young program, and there's progress. We're trying to make the progress for the ones coming behind you. And that's the selling point. And there's a lot to play for when you think about those things.
Absolutely. And we're excited to see the product we can put on the field Friday night, hoping for a big win to wrap up the regular season and wrap up what's been a pretty good home season so far this year. We are 2-2 at home at this point in time. As I mentioned, we've led at halftime in all 4 home games this year, dating back to North Cobb Christian and North Murray. So that's at least the minimal expectation for me at this point. Is we at least got to be leading at halftime. We've done that at every game at home this year. So, Coach, I appreciate your time this week, and we thank everybody for tuning in all season long. From a programmatic standpoint, we will, if the season ends after this Friday night, we will likely not do a regular show to recap Game 10. We'll come back and do kind of a big picture season recap, and we don't usually do that until after we have like all region teams and that type stuff. So if this is in fact our final game of the season Friday night, we will not see you probably until maybe closer to December. But we thank you so much for tuning in every single week here on our YouTube channel to CreekCast. For Coach Drew Carter, I'm Brooks Carter. We'll see you next time.